How to survive an economic recession. Do this now. Times are tough, and it seems like every day the news is talking about another company that's gone bankrupt or another person who's lost their job. But don't worry, I'm here to help. Hello and welcome to Tom's Do-It-Yourself Investing, a channel where we discuss personal finance tips, investing guides, real estate, and the stock market. Despite the fact the US's most recent recession ended in April 2020, some experts believe we could fall into a recession any time, or even in one now due to rising gas prices, Russia's war on Ukraine, and rising inflation following the pandemic lockdowns. It was reported in late July that US economic growth has declined for a second consecutive quarter. The numbers indicate a recession, but the National Bureau of Economic Research will determine the final outcome. Are you concerned about how a potential recession might affect your finances? The average person can implement several everyday habits to protect themselves from the effects of recessions, or even prevent them from happening in the first place, assuming they have some time to prepare. In this video, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to make it through these tough times of economic recession and come out stronger than ever before. So sit back, relax, and let me teach you everything I know about surviving an economic recession. Without further ado, let's begin. What is an economic recession? Before I share the tips on how to survive an economic recession, you need to understand what it is. An economic recession is a period when a country's economy contracts for at least 6 months. This usually results in high unemployment rates, reduced incomes, and general financial stress. An economic recession is not something most countries want to experience. However, they do occur from time to time and affect different countries in different ways. An economic recession has many implications on businesses and individuals. If you're thinking of starting your own company or looking for new career opportunities, it's important to know the effects of an economic recession on the job market, as well as how you can protect yourself from financial risk. The effects of an economic recession. Now, let's briefly discuss the effects of an economic recession. When a country's economy contracts, it can lead to a lot of different effects, depending on the severity of the recession. One of the first effects of an economic recession is a decrease in employment levels. This means that companies will begin to lay off workers as they try to cut costs to survive the financial difficulty of the recession. An economic recession can also lead to a reduction in government services such as healthcare and educational programs. Additionally, the value of the country's currency, such as the Australian dollar, Chinese yuan, or US dollar, will decrease. This means that it will become more expensive for other countries to purchase goods and services from your country. Finally, the stock market will often experience a drop in value as a result of the economic recession. This can have a huge impact on the finances of both businesses and individual investors. Short-term strategies to survive an economic recession. Now that you have an understanding about what an economic recession is, you might be wondering, how can I pull myself out of it, right? Keep watching and you'll find out. If you're already experiencing an economic recession in your country, it's important to know how to survive the financial challenge. Let's go over some of the short-term strategies first. Build up cash reserves and emergency savings. One of the smartest ways to protect your personal finances during an economic recession is to build up cash reserves. This will allow you to weather the economic storm until the country's economy recovers. You can do this by cutting your spending and increasing your income. It's important to note that you don't want to keep all of your cash in the form of paper cash. Instead, you should consider keeping a portion of it in an online savings account to take advantage of its higher interest rate. You can also put some of it in a money market account, which has a higher interest rate than a standard savings account. Cut your spending. In order to build up your cash reserves during an economic recession, you'll need to cut your spending. This means that you'll need to reduce the amount of money you spend every month. You can do this by reducing your grocery budget, canceling subscriptions, or reducing or eliminating your spending on entertainment. By cutting your spending, you'll make it easier to build up your cash reserves, which will prove quite helpful for you. Invest in yourself. One of the best ways to increase your income during an economic recession is to invest in yourself. You can do this by getting more education, such as going back to school to obtain a higher paying degree. By increasing your skills and improving your qualifications, you can make more money, which will reduce the amount of money you need to survive each month. What would you like to learn or improve? Let us know in the comments below. Get a side gig. It is not wise to focus on one stream of income or one job. You should have multiple streams of income at once. So for example, if you're teaching at a school, you should also start tutoring students in the evening, which could bring in some extra cash. Long-term strategies to protect your finances. Moving on to the strategies that you can start today and keep on practicing them. One of the best ways to survive a recession is to be proactive. Before an economic downturn occurs, you can take steps to protect your personal finances. By doing so, you can protect your future and your assets. Because an economic recession is a long process, it's important to think about what you can do now to protect yourself. One of the most important things you can do is to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you're likely to follow trends and make rash decisions that could negatively affect your finances. While it's important to have a plan, it's also important to keep an open mind. What worked in the past might not work in the future. Identify your risk tolerance. An important thing you should do is to identify your risk tolerance. Your risk tolerance is the amount of money you are comfortable losing before it negatively affects your life. For example, if you have $5,000 in the bank and you lose $2,000, you will feel the negative impact financially. But if you have $10,000 in the bank and you lose $5,000, you will still feel the negative impact, but it's less severe. When an economic recession happens, many people's risk tolerance lowers. This means that they feel the need to make more money, so they take risks that could lead to severe financial consequences. By identifying your risk tolerance and staying within it, you can protect your finances during a recession. Pay down debt. One way you can protect your finances during a recession is to pay down your debt, and I completely understand that this isn't something to do during an economic recession. If you have a mortgage, a car loan, or a credit card with high interest rates, it's important to pay it down as quickly as possible. During a recession, people tend to take on more debt. If they are experiencing a recession and they have a high amount of debt, they will have difficulty making payments. By paying off high interest debts as quickly as possible, you can protect your finances. Investing during a recession. During a recession, many people decide that now is the best time to buy stocks. However, there is a lot of risk involved with this. If you buy stocks during a recession, they have likely lost a lot of value. This means that the stock market is not confident in the economy, so stocks decrease in value. This could lead to a major crash in the stock market that could cause a lot of damage to your finances. Instead, it's better to wait until the economy starts to heal and the market has confidence in it before investing in stocks. However, investing in the right assets can lead to a profit even during a bear market. If you have cash on hand, investing in low-risk assets such as government bonds can help reduce your risk. With low-risk assets, you can reduce the impact of a bear market on your investments. It is important that you don't spend all of your available cash when investing in low-risk assets such as government bonds. Otherwise, you may miss out on opportunities that could increase your portfolio's value. So if you're planning to invest during a bull market, it may be best to wait until after a bear market so that you can gain greater insight and understanding of the markets. An economic recession is a long process that can harm the job market and your finances. However, it's important to have a plan, identify your risk tolerance, and protect yourself by paying down debt. If you are careful, you can survive an economic downturn. What strategies will you be implementing? Let us know in the comments below. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask them, and I will get back to you. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to share the knowledge with those who might find it useful. I will be back with more videos. Until then, take care and stay tuned.